Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge After Show. Today, Jenna, Pamela, and I are talking about the Challenge USA Season 2, Episodes 3 and 4. And we got a double header for you tonight, just like in the elimination tonight as well. So a lot of double headers. Civil War was the name of Episode 3, and the name of Episode 4 was Double Crossed and Side Swiped.
Okay.
I mean, capsize makes sense because that was the daily challenge, but
I'm never gonna look at the episode title.
I made the mistake of not only looking at the episode title for episode 4, but then I just read the first line, which says, "Oh, on a surprise twist, there's a double elimination." I'm like, no, I'm such an ass. So that sucked, but the episode was great. But anyways, let's start with episode 3, and I want to start off tonight talking about how I really love the format this season because it's making people that would never work together on the original challenge show have to work together. The fact that Wes and Bananas are working together is, I mean, I know they did it one time on the show, but that was a gimmick to get us to watch that season. Let's be real. And at this point, they are family. And as they say, you can't pick your family, and that's what they've turned into. And I love the Wes and Bananas dynamic that they have to do that. You also saw them try to get Corey involved at the beginning of episode 3, and they would never have done that on the original show, even contemplated, because Corey has his own, Hunter and Nelson and those guys. They would never work with them. So the fact that they are is just kind of, they have to. They're forced to.
Yeah, and that kind of brings forward the point as well that Corey and Fessy, they make their own decisions in this episode, and they're not doing what goes for the majority of vets numbers. So we see Bananas get I wouldn't say get sacrificed. He gets voted, and therefore, he's pissed at Corey and Fessy. And ultimately, the point that Bananas is making is pretty accurate, that if the rookies are going to dominate the game, who do Fessy and Corey think they're going to go after him? They'll probably go for Wes, maybe another vet, but Corey and Fessy are kind of up there. So I understand the point that Bananas was making, but him going around the house and whining and crying about it looked absolutely pathetic and was not helping him at all. But it brings up that point that I think, Fessy and Corey they know from past experience that they're not always in Bananas' circle. They're not always in his alliance. So now that Bananas needs them and they're not really playing into that leaves Bananas all desperate and ruffled and all of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my thing about this is that I'm with Dan on the format and the overall, I feel like, God, I don't know. They just got it right this season. I'm enjoying it again, the way I haven't in so many years. And the banana, I feel like there's something new going on with this season, but the banana montage where they have it's like Italian widow music playing, oh, Giovanni, I love you. When he's crying around, it's strings, and he's just really, and everybody's just rolling their eyes. It was hilarious. It was the best part of the episode. And I think that the vets I understand what they're trying to do, like they were able to do with the USA, if they're all on the same page and united. But if there's any rogue people, and you've got a rogue Corey, rogue Amanda, rogue whoever, you don't have the numbers. They all have to be united, and it doesn't seem like they're united in that. It seems like only Tori and Bananas were vets won't vote for vets, and maybe Wes. But
well, Wes, I think Wes was in all that. You know who else they're really lucky to have in their alliance, just for the numbers, is Josh. Josh is ride or die for the vets, and he proved in episode 4 that he is very worthy of, just stirring the pot. I actually like Josh a lot in episode 4 because I don't care that he flies off the handle. It was very entertaining, and he went in and said he was going to do something, and he actually pulled it off in a really random ass way, but he got the job done for the vets in episode 4 for sure. As far as Bananas in episode, sorry, go ahead, Jenna.
Go ahead. No, you're right. Josh was a really good watch in episode 4, and I'm glad that you bring that point up because he is riding so hard for the vets that I almost feel a little bit bad for him, because where was that in the past for him? And is that going to be reciprocated? So that's where and I'm only coming to this thought now that we're having this conversation, because even though Bananas like whining, bitching was so, again, like pathetic, I do think his point was strong. Like, Corey Fessy, why are you not with me when those guys are going to pluck you off next? Like, I do get the point. But for some reason, like, Josh, it jumped all in and is so a part of this alliance with Bananas and Wes. And I just, what does Bananas and Wes, like, what do they do to deserve that from Josh? You know, like, why is Josh doing them that courtesy?
I mean, they've been in the game a lot longer, and maybe he thinks that if they do he knows they need numbers, and if they do take him under his wing, like he might actually make it to a final this time. And to add to your point, to the Bananas thing that I was going to say earlier is, his strategy started off great at first. He was exactly right when he was complaining about, like, you know, to Corey about what are you doing, dude? They're going to use you next. They're just using me first because I'm better than you and you've never won before. But then he just went so far with it to the other side, and it was just it was ridiculous with the music and stuff.
Suck it up.
But they also edited it nicely to make it ridiculous. I don't know how. I'm not sure he said those things all in a row in a 30-second span, but that's what they made it seem like, and that's what made it even more funny.
It was hilarious. And you don't see CT, you don't see Tori, you don't see those people whining their asses off when they have to go in. They're like,
Tori. I don't agree with the Tori thing more recently. Tori last season, and then even like today when she was purposely blocking, episode 4, purposely blocking Michaela on the 2 semi trucks. And I think Michaela, I'm not sure if she did it on accident or purpose, but she pulls out her hair. Well, not the hair though. It's like, dude, Tori, anything goes in the challenge. Like, don't block her there.
I don't know, Dan. Maybe Pam can agree with me. As a woman, it's like hair pulling really is like a dirty move. It kind of means like war. Yeah, hair pulling is like, oh shit, okay, we're hair pulling now. Okay,
right? Like that's not enough. That's not a body contact. That's like
that was just the
hair. That's like sticking your finger in someone's nose. It's like you're.
No, that's okay. So that's fair, but that's just the latest moment I could think of with Tori. But all last season on 38, I want to say, whatever the hell season that she won, where she was like trying to save all her friends every night, and it's like, well, it doesn't work that way. Tori. You can't complain every time.
I'm talking about
some of that.
When you're called in, she's not like, what? Well, how can you guys do this to me? You know, that's where I'm like, when you're in.
I'd love to think of an example, but I don't really.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean,
again, I'm just saying Bananas was extra. Even Wes, like, I know he was super extra. It's like, okay, we know you don't feel like you should be going in again, but you are Bananas. You've done this a long time. Like, this is the way it goes. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, when Wes reacts, because Wes this whole season, his own team is like kind of just not listening to any advice that he has to say. It's like even in episode 4 tonight, I think he's going to react poorly to them all going after Amanda. He's like, I guess they didn't want to do it. I thought we were on the same page. We're voting in Chris and that girl, I can never remember her name because she has nothing. Cassidy.
Desi?
Yeah, Cassidy. Who the F is Cassidy on the show? I'm like, they showed her the other day, like on episode 3, like before they did the whatever the daily was, the capsize one. I was like, who is that white girl right there? Why can't I place her? And I had to go back in my notes, and I was like, oh my god, she's the captain of that damn team. I forgot. Like,
Cassidy is the what's her name of the season where we were like, where's
not Siobhan.
It's not Siobhan.
No, it's not Siobhan. Like, it's it's like a 3-syllable name.
Remember, it'll come to us, but Cassidy is that. Of every time she's on, I'm like, who's that?
When
they say Cassidy, I'm like, who's Cassidy? But yeah, she is very.
Well, honestly, that was kind of neat with Chris this episode. The newest episode, the Sunday night episode, was obviously huge for him. But up until that point, I was like, I don't even know anything about this person.
No.
Well, unfortunately for Dusty, Chris, and Luis, like because this is our first time, all of them, I'm like,
well, Dusty actually,
like I have to see them
they gave Dusty a storyline though. They gave
Dusty's the super fan.
Yes, he is. Bananas, girls. Remember what he said? He said Bananas is his hero. And then in episode 4, we find out that he wrote him a note before Bananas has to go into elimination. I mean, so that guy has a great whatever you call it, a storyline, or just like when you think of Dusty, you'll think, oh, he's obsessed with Bananas. Like, he has that one line that you can put down. At least he has that. If I say Lewis, I would say, I guess he's firefighter. If you say Chris, I have no idea. I say Chris who? like
Brown hair, not Luis. Is that who Chris is? Because then
Blue
who's the
shirt.
other guy?
He's on the blue
There's
team.
another guy that's not the super fan that has blondish hair that I was like, wait, which one is he? Is that I thought he was Chris.
No.
So they
I don't
because
know.
then there's
Dusty,
Tyler. You know
Dusty.
Tyler.
Dusty.
No, Dusty's the one
There's a-
who is writing Banana's send-off love letters of appreciation.
Okay, so Dusty, which one is Chris has brown hair, right? And he was in
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and
he's like the one. He's a
Who's
little.
the
He's
blonde
muscular
hair guy
guy.
that didn't save Luis that we also don't know.
That's Dusty.
Yeah, Dusty
I
did
guess
not
I know
say.
who he is. No.
And
Oh,
it's actually pronounced. Apparently, it's pronounced Lewis. By the way, even though it does look like Luis,
It's
pronounced
Angela.
Lewis.
Angela is here too. Okay. She's
Angela, Lewis, all of them. But yeah, so Dusty is the blonde haired guy. Okay, I'm gonna have to see. I know Dusty as the super
there.
fan.
I feel so bad because they really are doing Lewis and Dusty so dirty with their storylines. Like the only time they ever show their confessionals, Luis is always talking about being a firefighter. He's like Sarah with the cop business. I'm like, okay, but it's all they're showing of him.
They don't. Yeah.
Dusty is like, he clearly is obsessed with Bananas in a way where I'm just like, I can't with this person, but that's all they're showing of him, you know. Like I actually liked in Sunday night's episode when we saw him make some arguments in the debate at the voting table, and we'll get into that later. Like I actually was like, oh good, okay, like there's this whole other side of him. He's not just this person manically obsessed with Bananas, because that's all they're showing of him.
I loved that. So when we get into that, we can. Yeah, he was awesome. That's why I didn't know he was Dusty the super fan, because it seemed like different people. But yeah, no, he was. He had his own. He was definitely his own person.
One more quick
so
thing.
Funny how they're doing him like that.
One more thing before we get into the daily of episode 3 is they give you a conversation between Tori and Polly, and you're like, oh boy, we got a Polly storyline. He's either going to kick some ass tonight or he's going to go home. I mean, why else would they just show like, oh, how he's changed so much over the years? They made a big story. I'm like, they're getting it in now because either going home or they want to really promote him this season as like the next coming. He's back and different and better than ever. So I knew it was a bad or a good thing for Polly.
You're so right in hindsight. Yeah, if you go back and rewatch the episode, like they only show snippets of people that something happens to, you know, and they really foreshadow it. But I really appreciated this conversation and I loved it. And I'm happy for Polly, and I love, you know, a growth and a redemption arc. And it was nice to see that he was getting to the root of a lot of things that made him angry, you know.
It was, and I really, after the fact, and when it, you know, social media the next day, it's like Polly comes out as bisexual and shares his truth with the world. I was like, wait a second, that conversation should have been. I'm almost frustrated with Tori, who's like, he's like, yeah, like I never felt like I fit in, and I did sports, and she's like, then what? Like she was just not very engaged in that.
I don't believe she had a phone, Pamela.
Not a phone, but she was doing something like writing, like literally she was like half attention on something and half attention on him. And I was like, wait a second, since it's a bigger deal, then it seemed kind of like he was like, yeah, I loved Freddie Mercury, ha ha ha. Like that was how I interpreted the conversation, not as like a deep confessional at all during the episode.
Here's the issue with
talk about suppression, like being interested. Yeah, like I think what I interpreted was he obviously had all these interests that weren't in this realm of being a masculine athlete. You know, he played all these sports and is around all these masculine guys where he's not allowed to tap into the side that he wants to express that's more feminine, or I don't know, whatever you could call it. But and it seems like he was interested sexually in what men and women, which is
right.
Like
no, I would like to learn more about that. I felt almost like ripped off that it was such a quick. I guess they can't go that deeply into it. I don't know why not. But
here's the other thing that's kind of on the Tory side of things is when they're having these like conversations, like back in the old challenge days, they just let him loose in a house and then they tried to catch whatever they could. Now, what I think they do, because I've been on reality shows recently, which I signed an NDA and I'm not allowed to say what they were on, like working events and stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah, not like on the show, but like they pull these cast members to have like scenes. It's not just like they're at a party chatting it up, and it's like they pull them and say, okay, you guys are going to be in this corner right here. Now talk about this. Like, but we know this kind of like from Laguna Beaches and stuff. That's why when they got pulled for this, they weren't just there. They brought them into this room. They put them in this place. Tori had to sit there. Maybe she wasn't into it. It wasn't if it was a natural conversation that she was just naturally with Paulie, I think she would have seemed more interested. But I really think these are forced conversations. Like, hey, Paulie, we need you to talk about this because we're going to use it for your storyline this season. Versus they just talking about it naturally, and I think she would have been more interested in it.
Maybe that's what it is. And
again, but why? And like, why Tori? Like, they could have pulled anyone for that, but they pulled Tori for that, if that's what they did. You know what I mean? Like, are they close? I don't even know.
Apparently, they're real life, like they have been, like New York, New Jersey, like real life friends for a long time.
Then she already probably knows this story, and that's why she's bored. She's listening to him
tell us. She just came to terms with it, so I don't think anyone. I mean, what we're supposed to. I don't know. That part doesn't bother me. I just felt like it was. He didn't quite say he was bisexual, or at least I didn't hear that.
I think he said that he was attracted to.
Yeah, he was trying to figure it out.
Explore other things. Like,
he was trying to figure it out.
He wanted to be able to be more flamboyant. I took from that, and like, great, we're in the Harry Styles day where you can like wear earrings and a scarf, and you're the hottest dude. So whatever. But I didn't know when he came out with when the next day there was a lot of focus on his coming out as bisexual. I was like, did he? I didn't quite catch that.
Anyway, you know, Zach has a podcast now. Our boy Zach.
That's something I will never.
I thought he was just on a podcast. I heard.
Oh, is that what it is? Because it keeps popping up in my damn feeds, and okay, maybe he was just on a podcast, but I feel like there's multiple topics for different days. I'll have to see if he's wearing the same outfit or not. But I swear he's wearing different clothing. But maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, the point is, someone asked him, "Hey, how do you feel about Paulie and Cara?" He's like, well, I originally thought it was just for clout, but he's been with her for 5 years. You're not going to fake that for 5 years. Because I do really believe that there are true feelings, that they are in love, blah, blah, blah. So he's been with Cara for 5 years. So the fact that he's possibly coming out as bisexual, it's like, okay, great. Well, he's with Cara either way. So
again, they also, you know what? I almost like, they're both like, what's the word that the people use today? Sex positive, you know, like open and cool and sex is fine and all that stuff. So like, whatever. It was just funny that the media or whatever ran with it as Paulie comes out as bisexual. I'm like, is that exactly
because it caught eyes? It caught eyes.
The headline.
Yeah,
it's a headline.
It's a headline.
Yeah, it wasn't totally clear or confirmed, but I feel like there was enough there you could draw that conclusion. But as long as did he confirm it with those outlets that talked about it? Because that's more important, is making sure
I haven't read. There is an interview with him, but again, this to me, it seemed like there as a fan of Teen Cringe, I feel like we sort of knew this isn't big. I'm glad Paulie has worked on himself. I love Paulie. Just to sort of cut to the chase of this, Zach sucks, whatever. I was very sad to see. I really wanted more from Paulie. It's been a long time coming to get Paulie. I really like Paulie on the shows, and I was really upset that he left. I think it was a bummer. I mean, it's the way
it was definitely too soon for him to go home. That sucked. Like, send Lewis home, send Chris home. I don't know. I mean, and him coming out as bisexual, good for him. But like, it's not old news, someone coming out with bisexual, but people are like doing like saying all kinds of crazy stuff nowadays. Like, they're a cat, they want to be their pronoun thing. So like, to me, someone coming out bisexual, I'm like, dude, good for you, man. That's like, but like, that's not like it's not like the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, okay, he's bisexual, great.
Who cares?
Like, good for him, great. But like, people are doing like more insane things that would be like newsworthy now. So like, whatever, good.
I mean, again, the point I think was that Paulie's different now because these things were why he was such an asshole, which I liked him being an asshole on the show, you know, but that he was, you know, he had these inner demons because he hadn't come to terms with his real self. And that's why he's this peaceful, well-adjusted guy we're getting this season, which we didn't even get enough of. So
and then he goes home. Right.
The storyline, much like Hurricane Hillary, was much ado about nothing. Like, we didn't get a good storyline. We didn't get any sort of conflict. It's like, cool, great. It wasn't like that mattered in any relevance to the show or to you know, him having beef with a person on the show. Like maybe they were trying to make the narrative that that's why he had beef with Bananas because he's Ms. Machismo and Polly's bisexual side couldn't deal. I don't know, but I don't even. It's like
You wish
okay.
that there was more. You wish that there
I
was
wish
more.
there was more.
To it.
I wish there was
Yeah,
more to
same.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Capsize is the name of the first daily. I grew up on a lake, ladies. We
Oh.
capsize canoes. It's not, hey, Jenna, it's not my fault to keep doing lake stuff or
You know
water
what,
stuff.
Dan?
Like,
I'd like to grow old on a lake. Like I wish
we
I would like to-
capsize paddle boats for fun. I mean, it was a blast. You'd capsize it so it was straight up, and then you climb to the top with everyone else balancing it, and you just jump it off it. That was fun.
You're crazy, Lake Dan.
You know what? I know you're being sarcastic, but I don't care. The lake is awesome.
I do. I want to live on a lake. I really wish I did. Lakes rule.
But the water looks freezing. Let's just talk about that. So again, they're in Croatia, which Pam is not in the Caribbean, as you previously.
Oh man, they got you, Pamela.
Which someone was like, she's full of shit. Like someone in our comments, hello, was like, she's lying, and this is why. So Sandals Resorts has a Croatia, which is why, like in my brain, it's in the Caribbean because it's like, you know, they're like Sandals Maya Riviera, Sandals Croatia, Sandals Jamaica, and they have a Croatia. So I was like checking out Sandals Croatia. So I wasn't like lying. And it is like in the Mediterranean. So it's close.
You know,
and Pamela, it wasn't somebody.
You didn't learn this, so
it wasn't somebody that said that. It was like 10 people that said that to you. So.
I only got that far. Okay,
you were
the
just
first one
dead wrong.
I admitted, I replied and said,
"Oh,
okay,
I know, we're just kidding around."
This is. I don't know geography,
but it must be a very pretty cold time of year because that water looks freezing.
And so let me just say one thing about that, Jenna. So they are all wearing wetsuits. Okay.
So that doesn't help me. Even in the Pacific Ocean.
Have you been in a wetsuit, Jenna?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm still
really because
like cold water.
The wetsuits they make even when I was growing up, I mean, they keep you really warm. They do. I mean, your fingers and toes are going to be exposed, but the main part of your body is okay. It's not that bad. I don't think it's that bad, but I might have a different pain tolerance than you when it comes to cold water.
I hate cold water, so.
Anyways, they were wearing wetsuits, so that my point is that I don't think it was as bad, but then again, their fingers and toes were exposed.
Yeah, so this one, I mean, it was pretty good. It's an okay one to watch. It's not the best one to watch, just because it's like a lot of swimming back and forth, and I don't know. I can't pay attention to the puzzle either. So when that
was lame. The blue team,
7th place, 3rd place.
The blue team had the best plan. They had the girls memorize it in quadrants instead of trying to memorize the whole thing. It was 20 flags. There's 20 flags on there. They each memorized 5. I mean, how easy is that to memorize 5 flags? And then they just destroyed the challenge. And the other two teams, well, you can memorize. Come on,
I don't know.
Jenna, you're selling yourself short. You can't memorize 5 different looking flags.
Maybe. I mean, I didn't recognize any of those flags.
You know, Jenna always says she would not be good on this show. I think she'd be just fine. She can memorize the 5 flags. It'd be
I
fun.
don't know.
Anyways, what do you think about Pamela?
I was thinking about someone, I believe it was Tiffany, said like, I'm not good at endurance, I'm not good at swimming, and I'm not good at something. And I was like,
it was her.
Those are a number of the criteria. So I don't think I can go very far. Unfortunately, she's like, I don't have endurance, I don't have a good memory, or like I'm not good at puzzles.
She's definitely good at not keeping her word. Episode 4 again. Oh, I can't wait till we get to episode 4 with her.
I can't wait either. That's I'm like, okay, blah blah blah.
So let's just skip capsize. Whatever, right?
There's nothing else I really have to say about it. Yeah.
And then we'll just get to the elimination.
I have one thing to say. Blue and red got 20 flags. They got them exactly right, and it came down to a time decision. Green got 19 flags, correct. Tell me how that's possible. Because if they mixed up 2 flags, that'd be 18 correct. How do you get 19 right? Did they just not finish it? Did they forget a flag existed? I just don't understand how you only get 19 if they used all their flags. If there was 2 mixed up, it'd be 18. So I was a little thrown off by that. They must have lost a flag somewhere or whatever, but they completed it. Remember, because they all had to swim to the dock after. So they must have thought they had all 20 up there. I don't know.
That's true. That's a really good point. Yeah. How could you lose that way? It has to be 18.
I thought it'd be 18. 18 correct and not 19 doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, that's what they said it was.
Right.
And then the next big thing after this whole thing is that Corey decides to side with the CBS crew, which we mentioned earlier. Him and Alyssa L talk. Alyssa
Oh, okay.
Lopez. They
Yes,
chat, and
cool.
Corey's like, I'm 100% on your side, and that's when they go into their deliberation. And who's trying to save who here? Is Tori? Yeah, Alyssa L calls out Tori, which was kind of fun.
No, again, it's someone. It's she called her out, and she had her big moment of being like, maybe it's not about you, but it's like, but it is. They are targeting Tori, so it's like literally, it's like, oh, your big move is a lie because it is about her. So suck it, Alyssa. That's what
I like someone calling
I
out
liked it
Yvette.
too.
I
I
liked
liked it, I guess, but also it's not true. It's like if they are trying to get Tori out, they are going after her.
Well,
And
dude,
for
but
her to be
Tori's on
like,
their
oh,
team
this
though.
feels like a direct hit. It's like, no, it's not about you. It's like, oh, I hope you girls feel so cool that Alyssa like big mouthed Tori, but like it is, and you are. So
Well, I'm not
that
100%
actually
on.
made me mad that it like shut Tori up, and everyone was like, burn, Alyssa won this episode. I'm like, but she was wrong. Tori's not making up that it's about her. It is about her.
Well, no, but not in that case because Tori's on their team. They can't vote her in anyways. Like, I'm not 100%
But
like
the other people going
Well, voting
in
for
her
Janae
team. I get
is
it, that part.
voting in Janae against Tori is obviously trying to vote in somebody who they think might be strong enough to take Tori out as well. It's trying to get both Janae and Tori out. So they are trying to get strong vets out.
Well,
so
yes, but that was a different episode too. That what and the blue team cannot get Tori out. They're on her. Well, actually, they can actually vote her in once they go to the ball hopper
other
thing.
people were trying to get either Tori or Janae out. So for her, my interpretation is for her to be like, yeah, that basically sucks that people are coming after me, and her to be like, it's not about you. Maybe it was about Janae. It's like, but it is. You're coming after me.
And maybe Alyssa's response was coming from feeling as though Tori is trying to lead the team, and Alyssa like saying like, you know what, take a seat. We also want to have a voice, but that's obviously not what she said. She used that opportunity to say it.
She definitely.
Yeah, right. I like your point on that because it's true. They were trying to take out Tori.
Right. So, it's like, don't gaslight me. Like, it's not about you. It's like, it's entirely about me. What are you talking about?
I think they're like, just over Tori being the center of the challenge last couple. I think it's more to do with that. I think it's more.
I get it. And I like these girls. What's their name? I keep calling them
the Secret Garden.
The Secret Garden. I'm like the Grey Gardens. The Secret Garden. I think a few of them are good, but it's like, enjoy your little.
Yeah, they're gonna implode. I would say same
thing.
Gang
while you have it, because most of you aren't good. So.
Well, not only that, Tiffany and Michelle in episode 4 aren't. They were too afraid. Josh, I'm telling you, he was like, I'll go to a stalemate, and you all can't call me out on it because you're too much of a wuss to do it. And that's what happened.
Let's get to this Alim so we can get to the Sundays episode, because that was.
Yeah, what happens? Banana and Amanda's, right? They get voted in?
Yeah. Well, it's Polly and Bananas, yeah. What did you guys think about the elimination that they chose for them?
I feel like, did Polly actually give up, or did his flame just, I feel like because he's shorter.
He barely, I swear his arm barely moved and it dropped the bucket of fish guts on him. I was like, okay, but here's what I didn't like the flame idea unless they both had it the whole time. I get the strategic thing of throwing it, but yeah, if you have the last beanbag and you make that shot, you totally, I don't know. I mean, the problem is to me is either person could have won based on a fire element versus a lasting element. Like Bananas would have lost if his flame was on and Polly's wasn't. I didn't like that the flame got to decide it for the other person.
Well, yes, I see your point. But there is always the chance of just not having as strong of endurance as the other person, like
and have that be the thing, the factor, not the flame.
Because Polly did look like he was chilling on that block of ice. Like he looked like he was in it for the long haul. And Bananas kind of didn't look as
his back was hurting a little bit.
He looked like he was like, yeah, exactly. His facial expressions were not as locked in as Polly. So you do, from an editing entertainment standpoint, you do have the idea of like, well, is Bananas actually going to let go because his endurance isn't up there as Polly's is? It's unfortunate for Polly that he's on the block of ice that's melting, but Bananas could still lose this. You always have that in the challenge, but the thing is, I actually really liked this elimination because I did think the fire element was creative, and Polly did have had an opportunity to hit with the beanbag, and he missed. So it could have been Bananas going home. So I do think the elimination was good. However, I don't like it for those two because they're two really athletic people. I would have liked to seen them do something more physical, more hands-on with each other, or maybe not even going head to head, even if they're in their own little obstacle course, just something that's a little bit more physical, a little bit more, athletic.
I'm
This
telling you,
felt like a bust for those two. Cool elimination, but a bust for them, in my
I
opinion.
agree with you 1,000,000%, Jenna. And I didn't even realize that I felt that way. But yes, it was like a fine elimination. But
well,
with this
they
matchup,
knew before it even happened that Bananas was going to be down there. So if they wanted it to be something bigger or bolder for Bananas there, or they were like, well, Bananas actually might have a chance to win this one, and we want him around obviously longer, so maybe we will keep the Fire and Ice elimination. But right before the Fire and Ice elimination, the red team, which Bananas was on at the time, was having like their meeting. And did you how funny was it when Bananas looked over and Amanda who's on Team Green was in their meeting? He's like, what the hell are you doing here? You're not even on our team. It made me laugh out loud again. Like, she's got me 2 episodes in a row now.
That's hysterical. I didn't know that. That is really funny.
Do you remember that happening now, Jenna? Because it made me laugh so much.
yeah, that's why I was like, and again, yeah.
Because what are you even doing here? You're not even on our team. Because she kept commenting. She kept making comments throughout the thing. And he's like, he finally goes, what is happening?
Right. Why are you in here?
Yeah. So see, Amanda, she came to. I wish she lasted a little bit longer, but then she had some funny moments.
It's just tough when you have Bananas and a Polly going in against each other, and then you give them something that's just holding their arm up out of endurance.
Agreed. It was a little
really good athletes and gritty players. Like, we could have them like mess around here and make.
I've got one more comment about episode 3, and this actually continues in episode 4. They have a new element this year on the show, and it's the confessional cam. It's not the interview cam. Now, I know this is different. The interview cam, obviously, as we know, is the talking head moment where producers are asking questions, and then they just relive and recount things from the show and give their opinions. The confessional cam is like, what? They're in the moment of the show. I got to talk now. I don't need an interview. I just need to say stuff. They've never done this before, have they? Yeah. On the challenge, that is. I don't think they've done this.
No, that's why it felt a little bit hard to transition into, by this Sunday night's episode, we see Desi do it, and it's a little bit less jarring, but honestly, seeing Bananas out of nowhere talking into the camera emotionally, and they just use like only him for 15 seconds of it. We've never seen it before. They're not using it frequently enough, for it just felt very just off.
It was because they were just adding in a foreign object to a show we've been watching for 30 seasons, or 30 years, I should say, not 30 seasons.
Well, they've taken away the night portion. If you've noticed, there's no going out after the days. They don't have
time anymore.
Any internal plotting. So I think this is their time to like discuss what's going on, who they're working with, because we're not seeing that play out other than challenges and negotiations.
I miss
too,
I miss the old party element, but I don't miss them. I'm glad they got rid of the new party. They can't drink anymore. They can't do anything a little off color, not PC. They can't make those tight. They can't have that kind of fun anymore on the show because someone's going to get offended. So I'm glad they got rid of it altogether, because what a waste of time that was. They go to let's go to a club and then talk strategy. Who the hell goes? No, I want to see you do the. I want to see some 1998 grinding at my junior high school dance
in the night portion. And if we're not getting it, then keep it the PG thing and give us more good content instead of so who will you vote in tomorrow?
I don't care. I don't want to see you at the club doing that.
Me neither.
Me in real life actually really likes and respects that there's not really a lot of alcohol in the mix and everybody is clear-minded, and it's sort of more of a peaceful environment. However, the me who just wants to watch sloppy drama reality TV, it's really when they're not drinking, you don't have people, everyone's in such a stronger state of mind where when you see Bananas is going on his kind of cry fest rampage and you see Josh in episode 4, no one's responding to them. Everyone's just
because they're all sober, right?
There's no banter. There's no conversation. No one ever takes the bait. No one ever gets involved in arguments or any sort of no one takes the bait in those conversations.
Look, and that's why if you love Josh or hate Josh, at least he is soberly trying to bring some energy to the show, just like Amanda was trying to do. And this season's I can't complain about this season though. Every episode I've liked so far, above average for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't miss it. And I'd much rather have a good, clean production than a boring, watered down. Like, we're gonna do it, but we're not gonna show anything.
Yeah, screw that. Go in or go. Yeah, don't do it at all.
Yeah, exactly. So this, and I don't miss it. Like, it doesn't. I mean, I miss it in terms of it'd be fun if we had that, but the way that they are pacing this and structuring it, they finally like got a way to do that without, and have enough drama that it's engaging without the double Fs.
The only part that it's felt for me is kind of how I just said, when people go on their tangents, no one ever gets involved in those conversations either. It always just feels like it's one-sided. Like it's just one person who is feeling something and they're talking about it to a whole room of crickets. No one is responding to them.
Well, when we get to the next episode, sometimes there's silent responses, which are almost better.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But no, it's not. Yeah. It's not. Doesn't become a group fight.
So the last week's episode ended with Bananas. He wins, and will he defect or will he not defect? And then I think that's how it's going to be every week now. They're going to leave you with a cliffhanger on Sunday nights, or what night? One of the night's episodes, and then the other night they'll finish the episode or whatever. And have it just be a clean ending where you're all up to date on the latest. So yeah, Bananas decides to defect. He goes to Team Blue and sends Corey over to Red. Now, could he send a non-vet somewhere, or does he have to stick to vets? I just wondering. I know that anyone else that's not a vet can send whoever they want, and I wonder, can they send vets? That's something for the comment section. Maybe if you could let us know. Maybe you know more than we do. Can a vet send a non-vet, and can a non-vet send a vet and switch with them? I just don't know how that works.
I think he said anyone when TJ was explaining it. I think
he sent Corey, and then in the next week's episode when Desi sends Alyssa S, but they're both non-vets, so I just didn't know.
That's a good question. I do wonder if there is a rule. I interpreted it as Bananas just trying to stick it to Corey, because of course Corey obviously did not defend Bananas in the voting, and didn't prevent him from going in. I love that he defected. Like, we needed that, and
we needed one.
And I love that. Honestly, I kind of love that it was spiteful and resentful too. I love that he came back for Corey. I was hoping he might go to Green, just because it would be great for him to be with Wes, because
I love it.
Together would totally destroy and dominate. But actually, maybe separating from Wes is smart too, so that way you have an ally on another team. The
problem with going to Green is Red and Blue are clearly working together. He doesn't want to do that. Sorry, Pam, go on.
Oh, just what if I just thought
you're very excited. I want to let you get out.
What if they make an ultimate vet team? Like, they just keep winning eliminations, and Red and Blue just becomes next. Like, it's like, fuck it. If you're not against us, fine. Because right now Blue's looking good. We've got Tori, Fessy, Bananas. Who else?
Chris, Sebastian,
Alyssa Lopez.
No, now you have Desi over there.
Desi.
No, Desi. Right. So now Desi's gone Blue. So what if they get Wes and they're like, great, this is it.
Lopez might be there too. Hold on. Lopez, but
Alyssa
S is gone.
Alyssa S.
Yeah.
Swapped with Desi.
No, it's a really strong team.
It's a really strong team, and like, get Wes, and it's like, great, come after us, other Corey, and Amanda's gone.
The team situation can only last so much longer, right? I mean, Green is now just dropping like flies. They're gonna have to go.
That was
one
Desi leaving
6 times.
Desi leaving Team Green makes me root for Team Green more now, but Desi was like my second favorite player on that team. But you can't deny that if Team Blue and Red are working together and Blue wins the majority of the dailies, that the Team Blue is the one you want to be on. Plus, they usually win, and now they have the strong. I'm sorry, I think Desi's the strongest girl in the house next to a Tori. So you put them on the same team. I don't see how Team Blue isn't winning most of these dailies and keeping them both safe all the way to the goddamn finals. So
yeah, well, I don't think Blue and Red are actually working together. I don't think that's truly confirmed. I think that just happened to shake out that way this episode because
yes, and
they just
earlier
didn't
there was
want
a
to win. Yeah, because there's always going to be people like there's people on blue who are voting for their own people. You know, like how we saw Alyssa Lopez is probably going to go for a Tory. She's going to go for the vets, you know, and they're on the same blue team together. So teams still are imploding from within, even though they can win the dailies. So I don't know if red and blue are really going to continue to work together, but we'll see.
Well, I love that green is turning into the underdog team though, because I was already a fan of them all season. And now I'm like, really just like, I put all my eggs in that basket. They're just exciting because they're down so many players. I'm like, how are they going to compete? And then Wes is on the team. If Wes wasn't on that team, I wouldn't even care. But thank God Wes is on that team because they're going to need some type of leadership to keep it going at this point.
Well, they have strong men. And what I don't understand is this is what I hope doesn't happen. Remember when they did, what were they called? The cells, that horrible season of the challenge when they had the cells and one team just kept dominating and another team was like so weakened and they left it. Like they didn't even move them around. I don't want to see the green team just picked off. I feel like that's stupid. If they get lower than a certain amount of number, I don't know. They should have
because they are really good because they almost won the challenge today. So
and they should. That's the thing is that's what kind of sucks. They should have won. It should never have come to this. Blah blah blah. But you know, blue and red decided to work together maybe one last time, just for old kicks.
And now without Desi,
yeah,
they're pretty weakened.
They literally placed their best girl with honestly, Alyssa S is probably one of the worst female competitors in the house. That's gonna kill Team Green. Oh my God. We can get into this episode's all about Desi. The new confessional is shown again. Desi's in the confessional. She's very emotional. She's talking with the secret garden chicks, and they're all talking with her like, "Oh, we're gonna help you out. It's okay." Blah blah blah. So that's how it starts off. Okay, it's Desi's storyline now. Like it went exactly from Polly's storyline, and now you know it's a big Desi episode. She's either gonna go home or she's gonna kick some ass. They're giving me a 50-50 shot every time to know what these people are doing, but whatever. And then we get into the daily, which we talked about, which is it's called Sideswiped. And
this one was really good. This was really fun to watch. I loved it. You didn't like it, Dan?
I didn't like what Team Red and the Blue. That really bothered me. I didn't like how it ended.
It bothered me because you have to. This is a game, and I feel like it's been a long time since teams partnered up together and pulled something like this. Like it reminded me of a vintage challenge.
Well,
season.
Wes let you know that he invented that, which is again why Wes is so good. No, hold on, but like Wes could have been like a lot of people would have been like, "This sucks. It was so unfair. I should have won. I'm on Team Green. We were winning." But no, he makes a joke out of it and says, "Well, hey, you're welcome, guys, because I did invent that 10 years ago." That was great. I love Wes is so good about not bitching out about stuff. He's just like, this is how he even admitted on our show here. You can watch it. The game's not fair. That's what happens. It just happens and you just deal with it.
Well, because you want to appreciate when somebody's playing a good game, you know, and he recognizes that.
Yep. Right. And Wes is
like that
when it's against him. He's like, well, my team is I guess doing their own thing.
They had to do it. And like blue had to do it in order for red to win. They were so far behind, they were not going to catch up. And if they were scared of green, they had to pull that move and they executed it and it worked and it was awesome. And at first I was thinking it puts blue in a bit of a vulnerable position because, you know, they're still not safe and Team Red wins. And do they really trust people on Team Red to honor the fact that they helped them win? You know, like red didn't beg them like, hey, blue team, defend green and help us win and we'll save you. It kind of was like blue just did it on their own and hoping that red would honor that.
That's what they showed us, though. I wonder if they didn't show us more of them talking about that was just not shown on camera. But yeah, they made it seem like that. But red held up their end of the bargain, whatever it was. Even Josh was not saying, no, we're not going to blue. But then Josh also has Bananas and Tori on that team. He didn't want to even touch that because if they agreed to it, Bananas and Tori might have been the votes. They're big hitters.
Because one of my first thoughts was like, shit, if I'm on red, it's still like, I don't owe you anything. Yeah, you helped me win, but like, I didn't ask you to do that.
No, they all were really cool about it.
Yeah. I rethought it and I was like, no, you have to do the right thing there. You have to honor that they helped you win. Like none of you guys, Team Red, none of you would be safe if it wasn't for them. Please keep them safe. Like it's the right thing to do. And I'm surprised that they did it, you know, because this game can get dirty. So
even Corey, who's now on red, but that was his old team, was like, no, we gotta protect them. They got us, Corey has a good sense of
Yeah.
justice.
Well, this is where we get
Wait, also we have to talk about like the highlights and the lowlights of this challenge. Like Amanda just dropping half of her discs and being horrible at the challenge.
I mean, look, Amanda is a boomer, but as we say in fantasy, you have boom and bust players. In 1 week, they could do really well, like she did when she was up in the air over the water and she completed it. And then you have the bust side where she literally bust on a bus. She literally could not do this challenge at all. She was not.
Why do I love it though? Like I was laughing when she was up there because I also feel like she's at least self-aware, and she could be like, "Oh, damn it, I dropped everything."
Well, might I add that Wes was with her and Wes got all 8. And even though she only got 1, they were still in line to win. So imagine if she got like 6, right? Then they only lost by 7 still. Like, it's insane to me. Come on, Amanda. You could have helped them out so much.
Well, the other thing too in that heat is that Wes almost single-handedly had the same amount of discs as the other team, who had 2 players who were actually doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Like Amanda drops everything, only gets 1. And I think the score was like 8 versus 10 or 12 or something. Like
they had 9 because she got 1, right? And Wes got 8.
Right.
So it was 9. They probably had 11 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, he still was up there, even just doing it by himself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was really funny too was Chris trying to play defense on Corey, and Corey just totally like laid him out. And
so there you go. Chris was mentioned there right before the eliminations tonight. He got posterized.
Because Chris was chirping at him and kind of talking shit like, yeah, Corey, come on, I'm gonna block you. And Corey's just like the easiest thing. It was so funny to watch.
Did you ladies enjoy the sound effects they added to the discs when they made one and then when one fell off? Did you hear those sound effects? It was, they don't usually do sound effects. So I was like, oh, this is what kind of, because the sound effects is more of a Big Brother type thing. When they are doing those challenges in the Big Brother house, they're always adding like womp womps or boinks or blonks or alarms.
That
every time one stuck, it would like go, I don't remember, but when it fell, it would have like a little like alarm that went, like, just like at the Big Brother house, and it's CBS. So the editors there are like, no, we want to add our own little, like not a lot, but a little bit Big Brother type vibe with that.
I had no idea what was going on in this chat. It was too sportsy for me, like blocking and doing it and putting things. I was like,
it was very basic sports though, Pam. They had to move one disc to, they just put it on the other side.
At first I thought it was easier, like not that hard, but then I realized with the Velcro at such a high speed, it could be really tricky and finicky to get that thing to really stick onto the side of the truck. Totally. And Tori and Bananas played really good defense on Monty and Michaela on the last heat. And because that was a good matchup, those are 2 really good teams going against each other.
The issue with that is it's much easier in that scenario to play defense than it is to play offense. Defense, you just basically make a wall and just say, get the hell out of my house. Defense, you have to hold the disc, launch yourself like Spider-Man or like a leapfrog across a way at an angle to get away from them. It's much harder to play offense in that game. So as good as their defense was, I wasn't super impressed because they have the advantage there a lot.
No, that's a good point. And as soon as the challenge started, I turned to my husband. I'm like, do you just try to play only defense? Because it does seem like
if you're in the lead, if your team's in the lead, why not?
Yeah, you do, because you have to get points on the board to win anyway, because it's a matter of like how much defense you play versus offense, to try to limit the other team from scoring, because like you said, defense does look easier, but you have to get the points on the board. So, but everybody, if you're just so focused in the beginning, it seemed like everyone was so focused on themselves scoring that there wasn't even much defense until like it needed to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Agreed. Yeah. Pamela, more thoughts on your sports that you love so much?
I just think I would have maybe had more, not that it was so hard to follow, but maybe more enjoyment of it if these things meant, like, if I like had thought that way, the way you guys are thinking when watching it. I was just like, fly, who got the point? Like, swoop, with Spider-Man color got.
Also, what I was confused by is they did it in different heats. I don't know why if it was an overall score that only mattered, then I don't know why they kept showing us the individual scores of each round, because they gave everybody.
I don't know. That was fun for me. Yeah.
But why it didn't matter who won each round. It was all about just that finals. You got your points no matter what. Now, if they did it this way, where in Wes's case, they had 9 and the other team had 11, those 9 points don't count at all, but the team that won gets the 11. Now that makes more sense to me as far as showing the individual scores for each round.
I don't know. I liked it though, because it's still, it goes to the bigger total for your team, of course, but I still like knowing who won the individual games too. It's just,
and I like it for people like me who are not following anything to be like, oh, this team's ahead right now. Like that's the only way of gauging.
Yeah, but they showed that too. They showed the full score in between every round. That's how you
I
can
liked
kept going
that.
too.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
You could be like, wow, they had a good round. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Blue was doing so poorly throughout the whole beginning of the challenge. They kept just going back to Bananas' face because he just defected to that team.
And he's like, shit.
I know.
Why
I'd be sitting there thinking like, damn it. But
why did Blue perform so poorly? Like, who did someone
again?
Honestly, red and green were just really good.
I think it depends on the challenge and what skill sets it takes for certain things. Honestly, I know we think Blue is this big powerhouse, but Green has won one. Green should have won tonight. Red, whatever. But Blue has dominated. But still, I think that Green is a good threat for them. And I think if Red gets their act together, I think that, like we said at the beginning of the season, Pam, remember you said this, all teams are pretty good. Like they're all good.
Yeah, they were all good. But now with Desi and Bananas both on Blue, I feel like Blue is looking pretty stacked, and Green, unfortunately, where they're all they've got strengths and weaknesses. Green with little people.
But the thing is, you will have those challenges where you are only as strong as your weakest link. And in the teaser on this Sunday night episode, I don't want to give anything, and it's probably a red herring, right? Because you know how they always make you think something in the teaser anyway. It looks like an obstacle course endurance sort of challenge is coming up next, and you see Cassidy struggling, her arms hurt.
I almost said
and someone else is like, oh my God, I can't do it, my arms hurt. And it just makes you think well, if she has to do something because she's on the team and she can't do it, then that's going to screw up their entire
Well, bye Cassidy. Hello. Who would we want to go?
But it makes all of Blue vulnerable again because they lose. But anyway, but we don't know if that's going to happen. But I'm just saying, there will come those challenges where every single person has to.
I'm more excited about the vets and their plan that they show in the preview. The vets have a little plan. They're going to try to unfold. We'll see.
I didn't watch the previews.
Let's get to my favorite nomination so far of the season. It's Josh versus Tiffany and Michelle, and it gets crazy and it's fun. And Tiffany and Michelle
first.
What's that?
It's Chanel first.
Oh yeah, you're right. Chanel's involved too. But the reason I say Tiffany and Michelle, because Chanel still goes with what she believes.
Yeah.
She does not cave to Josh. She's like, I'll go into if you want to do a stalemate, I'll be up for that too, then, damn it. I'm not going to fall for your crap. I say Tiffany and Michelle because they both caved. Tiffany the other week voted for her own teammate, I think, or what she do. She just didn't vote. She didn't want to vote for John A. And now she's like, oh, well, I could make this a tie and I won't do it.
Who was she supposed to be protecting? Desi?
Yeah.
Yes. And she voted.
Random, just threw it away.
Okay, because
I see it.
Okay.
Is what happened is all the girls in the red shirt plus Michaela and Desi. So the red shirt team won. So we have Tiffany, we have Michelle, we have Chanel, and then they're friends with Michaela and Desi. The red shirt girls go into this voting table with their argument, with their debate. They are saving the hell out of Desi and Louise, and they are voting the hell out of the vets, which their names are escaping me right now. Who did they want to go in? Wes and Amanda. They wanted Amanda, go in. But somehow, how the hell does Josh flip this around?
It's great.
Because well, one thing is that he sort of made sense, but two, they had the numbers. Those girls, right? Those red.
No, because there's only three of them. There was only three girls on red.
So how Josh gets it to flip around, I think, is because he is able to get into Michelle's ear about Lewis, and he's like, well, Lewis voted for you last time, Michelle. So instead of Michelle saying Wes's name, which was all the red shirt girls' plan, Michelle's like, you're right, Lewis did say my name. So she says Lewis's name instead of Wes. And then Tiffany, when threatened by the stalemate, because Josh is like, I'm going to force a stalemate. He will not budge on Amanda. That's what he does. That makes the entire voting get messed up from the red shirt girls' plan. He will not budge on Amanda. It forces Tiffany to think about what is the consequence of a stalemate. Oh shit, I could potentially go in. Sorry, Desi, I'm going to say Cassidy. She does a burn
Okay.
vote, so that way Desi gets locked in.
But
So
here,
it's like,
and here's the other thing too, is Josh gets on Dusty's good side where he's like, you know, you why are we throwing Amanda in? She's so goddamn weak.
Right.
You know, so Dusty's like, oh yeah, I'm with you. Why am I throwing? I'm not going to vote for Amanda like you girls want to. And then Corey, Corey's social game has always been an issue for him. He doesn't want to step on any toes. He doesn't want to make any big. The fact that he even made the big move of going with the non-vets this season is huge for him. So he just like, yeah, whatever. He just goes with the flow. He doesn't try to make.
Vote for Desi?
He didn't vote for Amanda or Wes. I don't know who he voted for. He just
Okay.
I didn't write them all down, unfortunately, because it was pretty.
Okay.
It was such a fast-paced thing. I was just trying to enjoy it.
It was great.
Yeah.
yeah, he was pretty neutral.
Josh's like episode was amazing. When
Whoa!
he's like,
I never thought we'd hear her say it.
I was like, dare I say? My notes are like, dare I say Josh is right? Because it's true. I know he's riding for Amanda, but it also logically, it's like Amanda's not a great player. If you're gonna shoot your shot.
So Chanel tried to throw it back in his face, Pamela, and say that, well, but if you keep Amanda around, do you want to run with her in a final? But my argument to Chanel would be, if we stay in these teams, Amanda's not on our team. We want to keep her for a final. So I didn't get that. Unless they all go individual, then why would you care either?
I didn't. That's what made me wonder, do we have any idea like how? And
no, we don't. But that's what Chanel's argument there. I wish Josh jumped back and said, she's not on our team. Like, why didn't he just say that?
Yet. Like, yeah, that was
I liked both arguments because I mean, at least like Chanel had something in her back pocket, right?
She tried.
Like,
yeah, she definitely tried something.
I'm like such a bad like arguer. I'd be like, fuck, shit, he got me. You know, so at least she had something to say back to it. And and maybe she's not wrong, but I think Josh's point is probably stronger. Like, who would you rather compete against? Right. But Chanel, she's done her homework and she's watched the challenge, because think about even when the finals become individual, they're never individual. You always have to partner up with somebody. Right. So she's kind of right. Like, do you want to run with them? So
no, you don't want to, and hopefully you don't have to, and now you really don't have to.
We're not going to get there. That's the other. So Chanel, amazing. She when she was yelling at Dusty, is that who she was yelling at, about trying to get him to protect Lewis and vote in Wes? She was like, you're not gonna. Chanel like had her big scenes tonight, because I was like, I don't know what Chanel's from, but I really like her. I didn't remember her from the past, but so she's yelling at Dusty to put
Wesson to save Lewis, because
then Dusty again is like, I'm not going to be strong armed by anyone.
I love that. Was a great one.
Yes, I thought she was intimidating in her argument. It's like, you're not going to, ride for like your best, closest guy in the show, whatever. And then he's like, I hold up, like, you're not going to make me do anything. Like, let me.
Chanel is from Survivor, by the way.
Oh, Chanel. Okay, so these people, and the reason why this is so good is that they're smart. They're not just like, okay, Tori, like, they're not just doing what the vets say, and they're also not just bullheadedly fighting against them for no reason, the way Sarah and Danny were, I thought, last time, like, choose your battles. So they have their own agenda, and they have the numbers this time. So it's really interesting seeing how it plays out.
Yeah, I still think, honestly, it was Josh's idea of proposing the stalemate and making everybody scared about what that consequence was. That changed that manipulated the entire voting. It really it influenced everything. And Dusty, I think he was wrong for not saying Wes's name. I mean, I guess he wants to be aligned with the vets. He loves bananas. I think he wants to be cool with the vets, and he didn't say Lewis's name, sure, but he burned votes for Monty, and therefore, again, just like Tiffany burning on Cassidy, locked in a vote for his show, for his number one ally and friend in the game. So he probably should have saved Lewis, honestly, but I think maybe he was more interested in working with the vets, or he feared that stalemate too much. So again, Josh really did it. He really did it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the blue team, my goal would be to get rid of a Cassidy and swap her for a Michaela or a Michelle, and get rid of and then make sort of the dream blue team that's kind of united in there. It's like the people that will go on the same, maybe not Michelle and maybe not Michaela, because they're both very strong women. but
Well,
someone, a good girl instead of Cassidy, that's sort of vet adjacent.
yeah, I
Do you
think
think that the Secret Garden has too many members? Because I sure do. I think there's a line that needs to be drawn of how many members you let into these lines. Because you can't. There's going to be people at the bottom of that alliance, I guess, and I guess you don't want to be that person, obviously. But like, I'm just looking. They can't save everyone. They couldn't even get Desi, who's probably the strongest member. There's like, no, I'm too bad. Sorry, Des.
Oh well.
I don't know, because at this point it's only episode 4, so the more numbers the better. But when you get
They're
in these
already starting to fight though.
but yeah,
because of that.
You get in the sticky situations, because I feel bad for Desi coming out of red team voting, because I think Desi just wants to like take it on the chin, like, whatever, I got voted for, you couldn't save me. She doesn't want to cry about it, she doesn't want to bitch about it, because she's not really, at least we don't see this happening, she's not really asking like enough follow-up questions that are helping her suss out who in her alliance may have not
She
protected
knows. She knows it was Tiffany
Oh,
and
they
Michelle
told her,
couldn't get
yeah.
the job done. She knows it was them.
Yeah.
Well, she knows that they couldn't get the job done, sure, but she doesn't know that Tiffany burned on Cassidy and locked in Desi's
I
vote.
think what Tiffany should have done was said, hey, it was going to go into a stalemate. And
Right.
honestly, I have to save myself before I save you. And I think Desi's a smart girl. Desi's definitely my favorite new character, if you want to call it that, of the last couple seasons that they brought on. And yeah, she's not dumb. She wouldn't have blown up like that. She has a level head. She would have understood.
She does. No, that's a good point. I guess, yeah, I was just thinking like, sure, you couldn't save me. I get that. And I get you guys were strong-armed in your tough situation. But at the same time, you might like inquire a bit more and be like, okay, well, who did say my name? Like count out, like, tell me the 4 people that said my name. Okay, but whose name did you say?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sorry, but you have Tiffany on your team, and that girl, I don't trust her at all. I think she just lies all the time, and that's her game strategy. That's how she plays the game. That's fine. That's not for me. I'm much more of someone that's more like, I feel like Desi is very honest. And you remember Desi last season in Challenge USA, the first season, wasn't the only reason that she didn't like go further in the final, because wasn't it Enzo, your boy Enzo from Jersey's, Jenna? She was like partnered with him, and he gave up or something, got hurt.
Yeah,
remember?
and he hurt his
knee.
He did something where we're like, is he really hurt? Come on.
So that's what I mean, because they come out and obviously Tiffany and Michelle are acknowledging the fact that they couldn't get the job done, sure. But Tiffany also says to Desi, but we didn't say your name. Neither of us said your name, which is technically true. But Tiffany, isn't it also technically true that like you still said a name that made Desi go in?
Right.
So Desi doesn't know, like, okay, she still did something that had me go in. You know what I mean? Like she's still still caused me to go in, but at the same time, like Tiffany does have to, it's an individual game. She has to protect herself.
That's what I said, but that's why I said Desi would understand it. I'm not, I get why
it's gonna be
had to do it.
Yeah.
And if she said at least, so now if we know it's gonna likely be you, we can make sure we get Amanda, then we can have our alliance turn on.
And let's say they give them props.
Yeah, they're like,
they all got Amanda in there.
Yeah, which is good. You guys, wait, we skipped over Josh's like in the house freak out, and we have to talk about it.
That was way early on.
Josh's montage. We just have to, because that to me like replaced a drunk scene. That was when you're
that's
like,
what I mean. Yeah, I know.
What is Josh doing? He's like, it's secret commerce. And I was like,
well, I think he's remembering how the old challenge used to be. Everyone hanging out in a room, enjoying each other. He said they're all sneaking off into their bedrooms to have private meetings. He's like, why can't we all hang out as a group? It always has to be game, whatever. But hey, he wanted to call people out, and it was entertaining.
I don't know what he was.
I just wish, like what I was saying, I wish there was more traction there. I wish more people got involved in these conversations. But when nobody's drinking, nobody feels the need to get, a little swag in their step. No one
My
wants
favorite part of it was everybody's
people are worried about what's that? Sorry,
like Josh's freak out was amusing, but like the best thing was the editing of like bananas. It was like the same thing. You get the like everybody's just like, what are you doing? Like every single person, they show their faces and like,
well, that's
figure out what the hell he's talking about.
Well, that's the thing though, the way that they're chopping it up, even though it is funny and it makes Josh looked like he's just going on a rampage that nobody cares about. At the same time, it's like, we're only getting bits and pieces of what he's saying too, that it was hard for me to like put the context totally together. I'm like, what actually is he bitching about? Because you're not letting the full sentence out. So I'm just trying to like, he seems like he's just yelling at everyone.
It does.
And not one person had a thing to say.
He was just going crazy. I mean, I don't think he had a major point to make. He was like, I don't know, but
well, that's why I pieced together that he's upset that people are having private conversation and everyone just hanging out in the same room. That's what I pieced together.
Well, they don't have anything to drink about. So
yeah, exactly. That's a good, I had no idea. I was just like,
that's another thing. Are they 100% alcohol free on this show on the CBS version? Are they not? Because I haven't seen a drink in anyone's hand. Wait, did they cheer? Did Josh cheers on the first night?
Oh, we had wine at the thing. They're probably like allowed one drink per hour, something like that.
On the yacht, you're telling me on the yacht they didn't have a beverage on the yacht? To open the season, they're not allowed to have a nice drink on a beautiful boat. I mean, that seems like they're really depriving.
I don't know. During the deliberation, he had some red wine, so I was like, red wine. I think I want red wine.
Okay, so they're
It inspired me, but yes, I guess they're allowed to, but very minimally. I'm sure in real life they're allowed to like go out and cut loose when not during production hours, but they're obviously.
Well, let's get to the arena here. It's called Evil Eye, and it's kind of a take on the stick wrestle, pole wrestle, kind of a take on the whatever. It's the same thing. But for this one, it's like the same thing. I honestly thought it was like this.
You might argue though that the disc might be harder to, I don't know, because it has cups for your hand, it has placement sections for your hand, so your hand could stay in there better, so it might be easier. But it also
is I think this is easier because we saw Amanda literally putting her body around.
Oh yeah, that was a great move.
She was like koala bearing the disc.
Yeah, she sat on it. She sat on the disc, and Desi still picked her up, put her on like she was wait staff somewhere, and waited her out, and just like.
Well, wait, no, kind of though, because
Amanda did a good.
We really have to respect Amanda's fight here.
Oh yeah,
it was awesome. She did a really fantastic job because I thought she had no chance at all. I was like, oh my God, she's gonna get eaten alive. Like this actually might not even be fair. Like this poor girl is gonna get like dragged through the mud, and she did a great job.
Yeah. She did do a good job. So Amanda, I feel like before the season started, she was like, haha, bitches, wait till you see what a clown Tori is on this season, or something like, you'll see who wins this season. Amanda's talked a lot of shit for someone that goes home like second.
Okay, that's all Amanda does. That's why she's
I know, but she was alluding to, I kept being like, what's gonna happen? Is she gonna like take Tori out? Like she was saying things like, yeah, just wait till you all see what goes down, who's on top this season. Like it's just
yeah.
I thought, like, are we up for some crazy upset? Are they gonna be in a I thought there was gonna be like a final with Tori versus Amanda, like with a puzzle and Amanda something that it was gonna be like, but she did talk a lot of shit on social, and again, I know she talks shit, but she alluded to something where she comes out on top.
Yeah, no, she just selling tickets to the arena.
Not me. I was like, wow, what's gonna happen?
I know so many people hate Amanda because she can be, she can really give it to people, but there was something about her on this season that I was so enjoying watching. Like my husband was really excited that she was going against Desi because he was like, good, Amanda's ass is going to get out of here because she sucks at everything. And just but I was like, yeah, but like I kind of really like her self-awareness. Like I actually she's kind of a comedic relief because when she can joke about how she sucks at things, and then it just, I don't know, I was enjoying watching her this season.
No, I agree. Like she definitely brings something to the table. I mean, she's not, it's not like she's certainly a character, she's super, super amusing. I just think she's also super mean. And like at a certain point, it's like, okay, that gets like, it's funny and she's funny and I, you know what I mean? Like I like it and it's fine, but we know Amanda's not going to win. So it's like,
well,
You can only be
Desi's
amusing
second
for-
choice was Cassidy. I would have much rather have seen Cassidy in there because, yeah, keeping Amanda around a few more weeks, get a little more entertainment value, rile stuff up a little more. But then, yeah, like you said, Pam, she ain't going anywhere. But yeah, I would have much rather seen Cassidy go in there tonight. I would hope that she would also lose to Desi. And then you have Cassie does not, at least Amanda brings a bunch of, what's Cassie doing on the show? She's kind of just there.
Well,
They don't have a storyline
yeah.
for her. She's just there.
That's
But
what's
whatever.
interesting about Amanda is she has this weird balance to me because it's normally so rewarding for someone like Amanda to go home, someone who talks so much shit, but like isn't really that good at the game, you know, or someone who's like mean to people, then they finally have to like eat their own words or their own medicine. Like that's always satisfying to me. But again, it's that balance of like her being self-aware, like she knows she's not the greatest athlete in this game. So there's something about that makes me like less satisfied in a situation when she goes home. You know, it's not like that person, like a Turbo getting, you know, the Turbo the last few seasons who has been like so cocky and arrogant and awful. Him getting his ass kicked and going home is like such a satisfying reward. But something about her going, I'm like, well, she wasn't going to beat Desi. Like you said, like how long was she really going to last anyway? So it's not as satisfying, but yeah.
I know what you're saying, and I thought it was Amanda's time. I was okay with it. Dan, you're saying you wish it was a Cassidy. Amanda's shenanigans, I don't know how much further they could have really gone. I do think he's funny and I enjoyed her, but it's like, okay, like if we're gonna start weeding out people, like she's a fine person to weed out.
Yeah. We should probably briefly talk about the guys, I guess. Lewis and Chris, very even keeled match. I don't really know who I was rooting for, honestly. I mean, I'll tell you in episode 3, this show, I don't know what this show is doing to me, but I was rooting for freaking Bananas against Paulie. Like yeah, I was. And like, I'm like, what is this show doing? Because I wanted Wes to have another number with him. So really, it's more based on I want Wes to stick around. So I need him to work with Bananas because they need each other this season. But yeah, I was like, what is this show doing to me? Yes. This one, Lewis and Chris could care less who stayed and who went home. Yeah.
Well, I guess in terms of result, however, the elimination was so well fought and Chris did such a great job. I was really impressed actually by how he played. And I feel like he gained a lot of respect, you know, because we don't know him at all. We don't know him as anything. So
we also saw him get dunked on by Corey though tonight as well. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Again, like there's different skill sets. And he wasn't like he was up against some slouch. Like Lewis is a firefighter, as we know, who is in great shape. And it was really well fought. So I thought Chris did a great job.
I was like, I'll lift my head up when the winner is.
See, Pam, I think I'm leaning more.
Yeah, honestly, I'm like these two brown-haired guys. Which one's which? Like,
you could have literally. That's what Pam. You could tell me that Chris's name was Lewis and Lewis' name was Chris, and I would believe you. I didn't care I didn't care.
I mean, now, well, that's what it takes. It just takes a little. Again, I'm loving this season. Everyone's pulling their weight. But it's like the beginning of Bachelor or something where I'm like, okay, like I don't know these girls' names until Hometown. You know, they all literally look exactly the same. So it's like
Hometown. It's
like the last 5 episodes or something.
Yeah, that's a different level.
Well, listen, so there's 10 episodes in the season, and the first 5 are like la 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 la, and then even though it's already Hometowns, that's where you like really where like real things. You're like, I don't care about any of these relationships yet. That's when you get invested. So at this point, it's like I liked Lewis and, you know, I'm sure he's lovely. I didn't care who won, but now can focus on Chris. Like now we're like, okay, this is what he brings to the table. And it's just about getting smaller numbers for us to get to know these people and for them to win something or do something to start to stand out. I mean, if you're not writing love letters to Bananas, you got to have something else.
That's true.
Hey, Dusty's got his thing.
This one.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on these 2 episodes, ladies? Any final thoughts? You know what I'll
say? And it's gonna make me feel like I don't know. Am I like pathetic or something? Because I was just so excited after this episode because I watched it right before we talked. I was like, no, I want to go right into the next episode. I don't want this to stop.
Yeah, good. This is good.
Same, like who's came in this season and was like, we need to do something to make it click. And even though they'd listen to us, obviously, there's some ingredients that even I don't think we thought of. Like there's something working
And let's remember, like these
fair.
producers can probably we had the double elimination factor tonight that TJ let us know during the daily challenge was going to happen. They had that in their arsenal of like saying, okay, it's been only girl eliminations. We need to get some guys out of here too to make they have to have around the same amount of genders, and they can't have male and female.
You can't just have only a team.
So they put that, but that's what they put that into a wrinkle, a fold of the rules that they could pull out anytime they needed to. Again, a well thought out format to keep the teams and genders equal.
It's the suspense, like it's actually valuable. They actually have like, oh, I do want to see what happens next. I do want to keep watching. Instead of last time, I feel like they would have to try to manipulate some like cliffhanger or some reason to keep watching. You're like, I'm just gonna watch because we do these after shows now at this point.
Yeah.
No, I like want to really actually keep watching.
If we get Jenna's payoff for these vets trying to band together and pretending they aren't actually working together, because that's what they kind of preview. If that actually pays off as a Jenna payoff, this season could be the best thing I've seen in years now. So this is gonna be good.
I agree, and there's a lot of strong players. Even now, Green is weakened. Strong players, strong team, and I think, as we discussed, the way it's set up where you can win is that I'm thinking the vets are going to try to get a Wes in so he can leave that team. I mean, like there's a lot of opportunity to do interesting things. So
you think that you think that a vet is going to purposely go into elimination against someone that's a lot weaker than them so they can come back and go on Team Blue?
I think Wes would make an agreement with Team Blue saying, I will throw the elimination next week and I will go in and I want to go against who's the weakest guy, Sebastian. Is his name Sebastian?
Yeah, the one that likes Tori. By the
That
way, when Tori during that
plan, if it works, Pam, because it's it's risky.
So great.
Right. And then it's like you're on a strong team, you switch with them, you're just making your dream team.
But you have to have no fear about losing. And honestly, I think Wes might have some fear about losing now. Like he hasn't done, he hasn't
Wes is likely to be voted in anyway, though, so it wouldn't seem that crazy if they don't win. Again, as a weakened team, it's very realistic. It's a time to do it without looking super sus. And there's a lot of good things. And I do want to see Bananas and Wes work together. I mean, there could be some really fun things happening then if that happens.
And let's remember, Wes went into an elimination in All-Stars 3 against Yes, and he came out victorious there. So he has gone into elimination somewhat,
And even Wes, I also really like Monty, and I mean, I'd like it to be like, let's just make two excellent teams then, which I guess is just what's going to happen anyway. But I'd like that. It's like, great, then almost whittle one team down to nothing.
They could have 3 teams in a final, though, Pam. They've done that before.
Yep. But we know it's individual at I
don't think the final's going to be
one guy and one girl are going to win.
You're right. He did say one guy, one girl wins, but they could keep them team. Yeah, you're right. I guess they can't. There's got to, but you know what? They've done so much cool format changing. Maybe they come up with a way that the best people that have performed on that team in the final, the male and female, from that thing, like make it kind of a double win. They beat red and blue, Green wins, but then it's only the 2 from Green. Like, I don't know, maybe. Yeah. But you're probably right. It's probably individual.
I have one other question. Is there anyone else that's gone home already that we were, other than Polly, like really sad to see? Maybe Amanda, that we had more to see from, because I'd love it if they did a bring back.
But I'm not sad she's gone.
But it would be amusing at least if like they came in for a final battle or something.
No.
All right, I don't know, but yeah, it is, something's going right with this season. They've got something in the mixture where it's back to like the edge of your seat excitement and you care, and it is impressive that they're doing that without any like dirty stuff.
Well, I think the defection is really good, and it's good that people are using it. Because a lot of times people have just gotten like, no, I love my team so much,
right? And that's what I was afraid of, but
which will happen. Yeah. But so far we've had a pretty good success rate with people.
I do hope that I hope that a little romance happens with someone this season. We saw again in the last couple episodes when Alyssa Lopez was yelling at Tori during that nomination thing because Tori wasn't getting her way. Sebastian agreed 100% with Tori again and voted with her again for another, because he's still trying to get some. We'll see if that changes later, but he's still working on that. So maybe that happens. And then apparently there's something that happens with Alyssa S and someone possibly.
I think of
Tyler, your boy
Tyler,
Tyler,
yeah.
something possibly happens,
Yeah.
I heard.
I like Tyler, but you know how I feel about Alyssa S.
But
I wish it
Alyssa
was
S
someone else.
is Angela. That's the joke here. And then,
Right.
he's hooking up with his ex again. Yeah.
Also,
Angela was
somebody-
smart and good at stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Jenna, what were you
Alyssa-
gonna say? She cannot stand Alyssa S.
Yeah,
Jenna.
I can't stand her. I know. What was I gonna say? Oh,
she
Tyler.
ruined The Leftovers.
Yeah, I stopped watching this. I don't know, but I can't watch a show that's like 3 times a week.
Oh, it's so much.
You
Even
are.
2 times is killing me right now. All right, go on. Your last thought, Jenna, here.
Was that Tyler is somebody who, if you didn't know him from Big Brother, would probably fall into like the Dusty Lewis's category, where like we're just not even
Totally.
seeing, yeah, we're not really seeing him at all. You know, there's
Hasn't been very impressive either. Like, hasn't
Well,
been
it's not
dominating.
even that. He's just there. You know, he's not really a part of any of the editing yet.
No, but like, did he do extra good on any of the thing? I feel like he is really good at stuff, but I
Who
guess
did the girl? Who did Amanda and Desi
was
pull
him,
over?
yeah.
Was that Tyler? They pulled him over with the toe. So he's the toe guy.
Yeah,
It's
he
just-
was really cute. Actually, he was like, I would trust these ladies with my life.
He's really not. I mean, I like him, and he is. I don't know. I mean, I expect good things from him. So
Do
we'll
you girls
see.
know what a towhead is?
Yeah, a blonde. It's
Someone
like
with really blonde hair. He got pulled over
Never
by his
heard.
toe, and he has blonde hair. He's a towhead. There you go.
he's got like
A
red
really
hair,
weird
doesn't he?
name. Why
Oh,
are they-
Tyler has red hair. I thought he had blonde hair.
Pretty reddish blonde, strawberry.
What?
Yeah, unless
That's blonde to
It's
me.
blonde to me. It's
Comment
blonde
in the
to me.
section. Does he have red hair or
And
black
I'm like,
hair
who
or
is he?
blonde
Carrot
hair?
Top? Like, I don't know. Okay, I guess it's not that red, but he's not toe-headed. He's not a whatever. I'll take it.
Why is it called toe?
I don't know.
I
It's
don't-
so
I-
weird.
The only reason I
don't
know that
hate
is because it's
that.
on an episode of Full House from the 90s, and Joey Gladstone has blonde hair. And he thought when he was a kid, people called him Towhead because his head was shaped like a toe, but it was really because he had blonde hair. That's the joke. It's a classic 90s joke there. Yeah.
I don't know why it's called that, but I learned it because in the Midwest, where all these like Swedish people, like Sheboygan, you know, all those places, there's tons of toe-headed children, and I'm like, what is with these all these like almost white blonde hair, Jenna, on the
Yeah.
beach? Someone said, you know, all the toe-headed children come from like the Swedish descent, and I was like, toe-headed, you know, like just like Joey thought.
Like Joey thought. Yeah.
And then I
Why
learned.
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I don't know. That's a good thing to learn the origin of. I'm going to put that
Yeah.
down.
Oh,
That's
I'm
something I can really get
Really
behind.
a good
You
thing.
know, I think someone will tell us in the comment section now, Pamela.
I'm going to tell us next week because I'm going to look it up. And Jen, I've been thinking this all episode and haven't. I love your shirt. It's so cool.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
wait,
really cool.
we didn't. We're all kind of doing a shoulder off
Oh,
tonight.
yeah.
I'm
Pam's
just
letting it out.
following. It's not really like fashion more so much as.
This wasn't planned, everybody. I mean, this, and we all wore different colors. I
We're
mean,
just
we were-
letting the arms out because it's only
Yeah.
going to be summer for so long in New Jersey. So the tan has to be shown off. I had a hard time figuring out this shirt, if it's this way, way,
Oh,
but it's apparently this way. Although it's a little bit like,
little snug.
but it's a little snug.
It feels like someone's trying to
so-
pull you off stage the whole time. that we've
Right.
been going. with a big
Yeah,
cane.
well,
Yeah.
At least it looks
Okay.
good. So Pam complimented
It does. It looks great. It looks really cool. It's neat. I always give up on clothes that I can't like figure out. Like I'll see something
Yeah.
I like this, but then I give up.
I'm pretty sure it's too late to return it though. So I was like, I have to make
It's
this work.
It's different too. You have to make, and it looks good. I mean, it's cool.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. Well, that's a great. Please comment all about Jenna's outfit in the comment
Yeah.
section. I know that you will. Hashtag Jenna's outfit if you're still listening, and we will see you all next week for episode 5 and 6, or maybe just 5. We'll see how we feel because we're just trying to make schedules work. That's really what's going on. behind
Yeah,
the scenes.
exactly. We'll try and give you 2.
We'll try.
We'll
Of
try.
course. All right. Bye, everyone.
All right.